All right,
Hey,
all right.
I like point 3 sometimes.
All right, dainty hands, G-Clef, like... I don't need to get your point 3 discussion out of here.
Oh, man. Too much information about the pencils. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure everyone's enjoying this moment.
Do you ever feel like G-Clef...
Yes, I do feel like G-Clef.
do you feel like when we go to these game 5s, when we have these breaks sometimes, you're thinking, you know, gee, I really need to go to the bathroom, and then, like, we get the call in our headsets that, like, we're taking some time so the players go to the bathroom, and you think, I can't go to the bathroom.
Why don't we have a break?
Yeah, what's going
we
on
never
with
get
that?
A break. Oh, it's our job. That's
Man,
what we
ever
do.
since StarCraft 2, it's been all about the players, you know. Everyone's like, oh, the casters, and then it's like all about the players, G-Clef. It's hard to be a caster these days.
I know, and we're doing a fine job here, and it's the final game between these two teams, the final game of the day. Game number 10. And still, Ballistix actually banning my first ban. They're keeping it the entire game.
I don't want to deal with it. Not going to deal with it. Tempest, probably going to ban Tyrael. Actually, what would happen if they banned Malfurion? I mean, Ballistix not very good at Genji. They haven't played Genji a single time. Oh my god, they're highlighting it. No, ban the Malfurion. It's cool if you ban Malfurion, forces Ballistix to like first pick Uther, that you could take Hanzo away from them. I actually like the Malfurion ban.
Even though they were having a hard time, this map is super good for Hanzo. The scatter arrow build with the simple geometry. Basically, it bounces off everywhere, and also good for boss, the camps. And even though they're kind of losing with Hanzo, I think still a great pick in Kurstalo. So they're put to test and really thinking hard right now.
They look a little bit sad. Like SC's like, man, I just got totally wrecked on my
One
Hanzo,
of the best hero, yeah.
And SDE further down the line just got his first loss on Tychus. So,
or do we have to steal Genji away from Tempest?
There's a lot of talk like from SC, and normally in these drafts, like Jonah's the only one speaking and everyone else is listening, but I think they're just gonna pick Malfurion. Is SC with hand on mouse. Could be the Hanzo pick. Tyrael. So of these 5 games, Tyrael was banned only once by Tempest, and was picked in that last game, game 4, and in game 1. So hasn't been a huge impactful hero overall, but Tyrael was one of the reasons why they lost game number 4. Tyrael mitigated a lot of the damage. The few fights Ballistix almost won, Sync changed everything.
Tyrael was banned once and played 3 times, so 100% participation rate in this match. So they are willing to take that away. Tempest, you know their playstyle, you know their color. They're all about the team fight, and Tyrael, Sonya, Falstad oftentimes. Rehgar has always been the picks that they love so much.
Yeah, and Tyrael, you know, you and I were talking about maybe Judgment, like that Sanctification pick was what really won them the game. Now they're picking Genji with the Malfurion. Does Ballistix go in on something like an Illidan or Greymane here with the Divine Shield that they can grab from Uther? They have Tyrael. Like, they could grab Tyrael and something safe like a Greymane and then pull out the Illidan pick. Like, there's a lot of different things that Ballistix can do now. They have this first pick Tyrael and Uther. So they're going to grab Uther Hanzo. Still a possibility for a fantastic Sonya pick. Illidan. The world is their oyster. Or Muscle, or Clam, if that's your kind of thing. Like Barnacle or whatever.
You caught me off guard there. That was like the best ban that you had against me. But a Blaze, even if they're not going to run the Tracer, pretty concerned about the Blaze solo lane. Even if that was not the best case for game number 4, of course, for Ballistix. Jung had a tough time trying to hit that jet propulsion for extra CC.
Well,
what do you ban
here?
Yes.
You and I are wondering the same thing as Ballistix. It's an odd moment. If you know what your solo laner is going to be, you want to ban something against it. If they want to have that hidden like Illidan pick or Sonya pick, you don't want to ban the counter because it makes it very obvious what you're trying to do. It'll be a Junkrat ban. That's safe. It also leads me to believe that they're moving away from a Tychus pick here. I wonder what it will be. I mean, SD did lose a game with Tychus now. Maybe his confidence is shattered. I mean, I'm being facetious, but...
Well, they already have Tyrael. Sanctification is available, so Martel for Tempest can work out great. Not a bad one, but that's when they had a Regard. Now they have Malfurion. Really hard to go engage along with Genji, so it's going to be Dehaka this time along with ETC. They're picking up that global once again. Last time they brought the game to themselves in Dragonshire, I believe. Hooligan? Tyrael's already taken.
Yeah.
It was going to be very likely Garrosh, if not. A great pick on this map too. What else do you need? Greymaine's still out there.
Greymane is fantastic. Illidan, I think, is also great. Hunt Illidan, I think, would be so good against the comp they're playing against, and with the heroes they have. I know like Illidan is not meta at the moment, but when you have a comp that empowers him so well, I would like to see him come out. Like, show me Junga, like the old ways.
I think they really have to go in hard with the laning. Because the globals against them, I'm talking about Ballistix, either just pick Sonya and just dominate the lane, really make it hard for Dehaka to go towards the other side when Dehaka has that global available. That's like the only way of contesting against the global, unless they bring like a false step to themselves, which they have not been doing that at all.
Yeah, it's going to be Sonya. Still Sonya very, very strong with this composition.
Yes.
Tychus the safe pick, good wave clear, wave control like you say. Tempest just looking for that second damage. I think it just might end up being a Li Ming. Feels weak though against the Tyrael shields, the new shields, and Uther's burst heals. What else am I missing? I mean, there's obviously the potential for Horrify with Gul'dan, like that could be strong, but it's not very good for the map.
They do have burst, and sometimes they brought in Jaina in this case. I think it fits here.
Yeah, if they had Leoric instead of Dehaka, I'd be super with you on that. And I mean, I'm still not like against you on it. I just feel like it's unlikely, but still a strong pick. There's no perfect pick here. There's only suggestions. Even a Nazeebo wouldn't be horrible here. With Thrall, the new range DPS.
So this is going to be, may see some change as Dehaka or Thrall. Of course, Dehaka will be onto the other line, the top one or the bottom, depending on which lane they go to. And then 3-man rotation between the lanes. I'm guessing that's what Tempest is thinking for the early rotations.
I don't really feel like the Thrall pick is very impactful here, because you're always going to be rotating between mid and bottom, and you're not going to have as much Crash Lightning as you would get on Battlefield of Eternity, for example, where you're in the 4 lane. We saw that avoided earlier in our previous series by the lane swap, and so I don't know. I don't want to say I dislike it, but I don't feel like it's very. It doesn't finish the draft off with like a cherry on top kind of way that makes me feel like, okay, I love this pick.
This is kind of like their game one. Lots of melee, but in this case they have a global. They don't have too much poke. Their wave clear is not the best, but now they have a global. They have the Haka to work around what Ballistix can pressure into.
Maybe the Sunderings could be what really turns the tide of some of these battles. And maybe that's why Thrall was chosen. He hasn't locked in Crash Lightning actually in G-Clef. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yes, I saw Crash Lightning.
Oh, okay, just locked in Crash Lightning.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, like, the cool thing about Thrall in the old days was that he was the Sonya counter. But now we're gonna have Dehaka stuck down in the bottom lane. I guess maybe the idea for Tempest was hoping that Ballistix did a lane swap and headed top, thinking that they could bully the Dehaka, and then he would just go up top and use his global, and then Ballistix would waste the rotation. But Ballistix did not do that. In fact, they almost got a whole cannon tower wall down here. So I think this is advantage Ballistix at the moment. Gonna rotate Tyrael up. What a world we live in where like every hero can like soul lane pretty much. Like every meta tank can like do some soul laning. He's like, yeah, there's Tyrael up there, you can soul lane for a while and then Sonya will come back.
It's only to soak up EXP and get some wave clear though. It's not really going in for the kill. Like a Sonya could actually get a kill, or Thrall oftentimes does.
It's just so funny to watch like Thrall camping up here. Like Dahaka's like going to grab the Knight
Anyone can camp those golems now.
Yeah. Just
even Avatar can do it.
Well, let's like be real.
Yes.
So I think now finally Dahaka's going to take his place in the top lane. Camps are taken by both teams, with the exception of the Siege Giant camp. Ballistix, because they only took this one, they're going to hit this wall faster. They're going to do more damage with it. So they're going to take a slight experience lead because of this. And, you know, I'm not entirely sure what Tempest should do against this. It's such a weird thing.
Basically pulling because they have range.
Yeah, like this is such a weird thing, but they're, yeah, exactly. Saying like, oh, you have a lot of melees, like we have a lot of
Just like in game 1, they're trapped into some CC, but there's a healing coming out from Uther.
Hooligan gonna have his shield up in a second. Again, that could be their opportunity to push harder.
Ooh, Dehaka coming in with the Brush Stalker.
SC is the target. Will he get grabbed? Oh, good, just gonna walk right by, looking for the pick onto Hooligan to guarantee the kill. Good burrow dodges this. So it's gonna be a one trade by Tempest. They save the fort as well, which is quite significant given that Tyrael is not a global, so can't just come back after this. Fort would have kept them even in experience, and they're going to get the first tribute. Ballistix didn't take this earlier, but this doesn't feel good to just walk away and take the night camp, or sorry, the siege camp.
I guess overall it's about even. This top fort is 100%, and also the tower's saved. And the mid fort can always go down. It had like 15% HP maybe. Of course, they ended up giving the tribute, but because Tempest has a global, I think that was given the choice. They had the better possibility of taking that. So I think it's about an even trade from that engage in the mid lane.
It's definitely a good way to think about it.
But Thrall oftentimes just staying alone, not really getting any of the stack.
Okay, Dahaka coming through. Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to talk about, but okay, they're gonna get this cannon tower down. Dahaka, the fail rotation means Sonya's gonna get control of that top lane, although she forgot that this tribute's actually spawning here, so never mind, she comes back down, watching that mini-map. Thrall, like, in these longer fights, he's gonna get a lot of stacks, but yeah, he's definitely not getting the stacks he would have normally wanted to get. Let's see, though, what he takes at 10, and if he makes a big enough impact there and the game goes longer where he does finish Crash Lightning, then, like, I will forgive it and I'll forget about it.
Of course, near the tribute, it's going to be a lot easier to get those stacks. And longer you stay there, it's going to be much more stacks coming in for Thrall. So you do have time, but it's going to take a longer time because Ballistix has been rotating around so that Lockdown does not get any early stacks for that extra damage.
Oh, big root coming down onto Jungha. They're winning the trade here on the choke point, but they're losing it on the right side. Dami's going to come through here. Cleanse is forced to use super early on the side of Ballistix. SDE being dove upon by Lockdown. Lockdown looks like he's going to get that kill. So much damage done, though, which means SC is just going to clean him up. Good. Already the burrow is used. SC gets over the wall.
Great power slide coming from Sign, so the Tempest can actually provide some damage. SD baited that pretty well. He was sacrificing himself to bait the targets of Tempest to come into that tribute spot.
SC taps the well. He's coming over here. Ooh, that spear missing is actually painful because that could have actually been how they engaged, but because he misses it, they're actually going to give this away. Wow. Curse point goes to Tempest. What an incredible mishap there with a spear. Not to mention that the dive onto the backline has been fantastic by Lockdown today, not only on this Thrall, but also on his clone Genji in the previous set. Let's not forget that Lockdown's a ranged DPS. Now that double melee is a thing, he's flexing quite well. But he also used to be a Sonya main, so he has that, and also a Tyrael player when he was on MVP Black. But what a really new style that we're seeing out of Lockdown, and I kind of like it. Like, it's really impressive. And yeah, sure, only 5 Crash Lightning strikes or stacks, but he's doing the damage, he's getting the kills, and he's put his team now on curse point. Maybe he should have just taken the Chain Lightning upgrade instead, the other one, but, you know, the Thrall pick is getting value.
Yeah, over time it's going to stack up, and you will be hitting that maximum stack not very soon, but seems like we're going into a longer game compared to all the other games that happened between these two teams tonight.
Faster camp time here for Ballistix.
Of course, with
they're
Hanzo.
grabbing 10. Yeah, they're grabbing 10 with the Sonya rotation. Lockdown is going to be fine. He looked a little bit shaky there for a second. Going to be a boss trade. I don't think Ballistix could come down here to interrupt this even if they wanted to. They're heading down to punish ETC though because they see he's alone. Actually, Hooligan's here. Okay, looking for the kill on the sign. Does not use the Eldrarunes to come in.
Shoots the arrow to ETC, they can get the lock in and then gets the secure kill there.
And Hanzo, what he can do in terms of boss clear to grab the camp is also similarly useful in terms of clearing the boss on defense. He will head down bottom. And meanwhile, this is going to be dead mid fort. Top fort damaged by the boss. And this is a huge win for Ballistix to bring us back to neutral curse. This will very likely be, or sorry, neutral tribute. So it'll very likely be a Ballistix tribute. It's on red side, and they have the advantage in terms of the boss at the moment. SC taking the, I was thinking he was going to maybe take the Siege Giants, but I suppose just taking the safer path, not showing. So they might think he's doing the Giants right now.
Gladly for Ballistix, actually, the Haka had to be in the top lane. Hold on to that. There's first damage comes in.
Oh,
Moro
man.
barely saves him for a second.
Sundering with the disengage. There's the silence, but it's not perfectly coordinated. Stage dive locked in. Divine Shield onto Tyrael. Not what you want, but Sank is going to be back up. This could turn the fight. They drop it, but Tempest with a snap counter, or not want to say counter gauge, but the retreat to waste the Sanctification. Divine Shield was used so that the interrupted Sank could come back after the Sundering. And this Thrall pick, it's working, G-Clev. And this might be the first curse of the game going over to Tempest. Hooligan going
very
deep.
low. No Sanctification. Arrow still available. That's the only heroic left in this team fight right now.
SC is doing a lot of damage. They've turned this fight again. Arrow comes through. It's a double stun cleanse coming over as well.
Hooligan is solo. Tommy cannot find the kill, and he's going to die himself.
Okay. Going to be a trade here with this Tyrael pick, looks like. Yep, onto good. And it looks like Ballistix will get this tribute. We will go to a 2-2 tribute score. There are 2 camps on the map. I have to imagine Ballistix will take red side and just go and clear waves. Tempest going to Hearthhome and lick their wounds. This is a fight lost by Tempest that, in theory, based on how the beginning of the fight went with the Sundering that interrupted Sank, Sank was ignored and they forced Divine Shield for the Sank. We all thought this is a one fight for Tempest no matter what. But they could not get the kill onto SC, and again, Hanzo is the one that turns it with the damage.
You know, after all the tools are used, only thing Ballistix has to really be careful of before the Sanctification hits the ground is the Thundering from Thrall. If you are matched up, you will get stunned, you will get burst damage from that Thundering, and after that's out, you can just stay together, keep in range of all the targets where Tempest has to actually make an engage, but when they don't have the tools, they will be out-positioned, and Ballistix just pressured in all the way. They still had the arrow available. Dami really not finding lethal. I think that was the biggest mistake at the later team fight.
This is a blue side tribute. Ballistix has talent to your advantage. Tempest wants that 13 with Dahaka, wants to buy that time.
And they have, with stage dive, they have double global.
Yeah, Jung-Ah misses the spear.
But
they give the curse though. And this is with Siege Giants bottom.
It's even worse. They have double global. They have all the tools to out-rotate, but they lost the first curse. That is the worst thing that can happen to Tempest.
Shocking, really, that this was allowed to happen. Don't forget that after this curse expires, double boss will be available. Top boss is going to be up in about 30 seconds. Bottom boss will be up right around the time this curse ends, or about maybe like in 1 minute from now. But they want to get this keep. They could go into a boss steal if they win the team fight. Tempest cannot lose anybody. The Sundering is too late this time for the disengage. And this may just be game over now for Tempest in this hard-fought series. Is their winning streak over? I think the answer, G-Clef, is yes, as Ballistix takes out the keep and goes directly for core.
They have 20 seconds for the curse, and the ETC will be coming up very soon, but there's that Divine Shield. Basically secures the game here. Twilight Dream getting 2, but damage is enough. Dragon Blade, Tommy's trying to do what he can, but core is going down 10%, and that's going to be the final game, ending at 11 minutes. Ballistix takes it.
2 records shattered today. Team Ballistix will eliminate the perfect record of Tempest this season. The 7-0 has now a blemish, will be 7-1. And at the same time, Tempest is able to prevent SDE from maintaining a perfect record on the Tychus. It was the same comfort picks, though, the Tychus and the Hanzo, at the end of the day, that allowed this win for Ballistix. With the nerf to Hanzo, a lot of people are saying Ballistix, they're not in the right meta, but they prove it wrong twice. They win Eastern Clash. They defeat Tempest again. Same one they had in the loser bracket. They win here. Damage in this game for Hanzo, 24k, but 0 deaths. A lot of peels. And Jungha, I feel like, really turned a lot of these fights by not turned, but started all these fights well by zoning everybody out or getting a good spear, forcing Lockdown to use that Sundering. The Thrall pick, at the end of the day, looked smart. It actually looked good, but the execution in the later team fights was better for Ballistix.
It was tough. It was very tough for Tempest, especially Sign, who had to dive in along with the members, make sure he locks in multiple targets. It wasn't even Mosh Pit, it was Stage Dive used once. Basically never was used again. They lost the game because Ballistix knew if it goes to a longer game, they might be out macro the entire game, and they still had a chance to come back into the game.
It was shocking that the Tempest did not try to use their globals to stop that curse, though.
I know.
With the both bosses coming up afterwards, no matter what happens with that curse, like if they don't end the game there, if they somehow survive, they're probably going to lose a member or two, and then they're going to lose boss, which is going to go to the core anyways. So I feel like that stopping that specific tribute was so important, and they just could not do it. They were not willing to sacrifice their globals, which then used, well, Dahaka used his global to then come back and defend, but he could have used it to maybe turn the fight. I mean, they needed to do something.
I think also an ETC pick was not the best one. If Anubarak was picked to Cocoon the Tyrael, I think could have been a better one, especially since there were lots of poking from Hanzo. And of course, Sonya, Tychus, Odin was popping off everywhere, basically doing free damage SD once again on Tychus. Not keeping the perfect record, of course, but having that safe positioning because of all his teammates really popped off and getting the keep and going all the way to the core. I think they had the perfect one. Sign having a tough time on ETC. Maybe it could have been a better one with Anubarak having the Cocoon.
Yeah. I should notice my ties as QG Clef. This is like a HGC tradition now.
Oh, to the left.
Oh.
Perfect.
So, who's your MVP?
I will actually choose, not Hooligan today, Magi.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid, but I'm going to have to go with SC.
SC, of course, but
like,
he's no fun.
Well, I don't care if he's fun or not, man.
He's good. If he's good, then it's fun. But he's been interviewed a lot. His Hanzo was not the best all the time, so that's why I chose Magi instead.
Magi would be interesting to hear from. He played actually mostly Malfurion tonight, but
some Uther.
Yeah, I wanted to see if they played anything besides the two. I don't think so. No, Malfurion and Uther only. That's pretty common though, obviously. Another hero that's like viable as support in most drafts is Stukov.
3 Malfurion and 2 Uther tonight from Magi.
So we had a fantastic night of games tonight, man. It went all the way, all the distance.
10 games, and that's the maximum game you can get from a single region. And all 10 games, though, has been a very exhausting, long day too. But
yeah, it's been but I mean, that was a lot of fun, and we learned a lot about this meta today. But Ballistix and Tempest, they had like a really unique draft setup, and we got to see some of the power potential of Hanzo. But I don't think any other teams are really going to be drafting the Hanzo besides Ballistix in this season. We learned about the Abathur counter with the Genji clone. we learned that Thrall is still very viable.
Still very viable.
And that Sonya is now back in the meta.
And also Medivh can always pop out sometimes, especially from Team Ace. We have been impressed, and they have been making it work in Inferno Shrines and a few more. And maybe that could be a pick that can come out from the top teams also. Maybe they're still investigating into the pick. Maybe it could be a hidden card for the big matchups that could happen later on into the part 2 that we just started today.
You're absolutely right. You know, I feel like there were some drafts actually in that second series that Medivh could have been viable as well. Some of the Sonya comps and the Genji comps as well to add that protection. So, you know, Polybomb also with these kind of death ball styles that we're seeing a lot in Korea right now. Polybomb's so strong against that. So before we run into the interview, I guess we're going to take a look at some highlights. Maybe we'll get to see that Dragon, or sorry, that Dragon Blade, the dash, how that dash reset went down. I think that was on Dragonshire. You and I were really curious about that one.
We'll see if that happens. This was the second push actually that finished the game actually here. Look at that Sanctification to basically nullify that mosh pit happening from ETC. Hooligan played a decent Tyrael, not his ETC game later on though. Yeah, this one of the mistake engage actually that almost made Ballistix come into this game. They were losing super hard right before.
Yeah. The huge fight. The Sank though turns things around. They win basically a 3v5 fight because of the Sank and the blinds. Oh no, they didn't win this fight. I'm thinking of something else. They ended up actually grabbing 2 kills though. The blinds making a huge impact.
And the Holy Ground was really good from coming out from Tyrael. And that Ice Block along with
the Horrify. Pretty slick.
See the mosh pit actually not connecting with the damage. Gul'dan was doing so much more damage compared to the other side. That's the thing, if you try to grab onto the support and leave Gul'dan free to do damage from the back line, that's what happens.
Alright, let's see if we can see that Genji dive. Oh, not gonna happen. I really wanted to see it, G-Clef.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of really good Ancestrals this game. Tempest destroyed this game. Oh my god. They got triple altars, G-Clef. I want to say it like one more time. They got triple altars.
We skipped all the highlight right before that team fight, but that was what led into this kind of team fight.
Look at SDE. It's like under so much pressure and just still able to do consistent damage. He dies, but all the while Hanzo is just killing people, man. Everyone's low. Hanzo's like, what? Yep. Just killing people, by the way.
He knew that he was going to die, and he brought in Thrall in so that Hanzo could do the most damage.
So, Hooligan has been selected as MVP. You and I don't agree with that decision, but he had a great night regardless. So, G-Clef, why don't you translate this interview with our MVP.
Congrats, Hooligan. This year specifically, is this your first interview? Mic check. How would you rate your own play tonight? Just thinking about the games that we lost. I think Dragonshire was okay, but TOD, it was a very tough matchup for me, but taking that aside, I played bad. So I can't really give a good score to my play tonight. Of course, the losing games actually leave a lot more compared to the winning games. Do you regret, or do you go back and watch your play? I always go back and watch my own play after the matches. It went all the way to the full set. You won the Eastern. Why do you think it was so much of a tough matchup tonight? I think Dragonshire Tempest really led the draft. They're really good with the drafting. Even with the team fights that I thought we were going to win, we actually did not end up winning the team fight. I think it's because of the draft that they had. They were really outdrafted by Tempest in Dragonshire.
네, 그리고 템페스트를 이겼기 때문에 한 가지 고비는 넘겼다 볼 수 있는데 이제 많은 팀들이 남아 있습니다. 앞으로 경기에서
Of course, there are lots of teams left. Of course, you defeated Tempest, who was having perfect record in Korea.
솔직히
네.
KSV 블랙
And be honest, of course,
어떤가요? 어느 정도?
KSV Black.
다시 붙으면은 뭐 그래도 결승전처럼
do you think you can defeat them once more, just like Eastern Clash Finals?
그냥 원래 잘하는 팀이라서
They are always a good team.
KSV는 약간 해봐야 알 것 같다고
Tempest
생각을
and
하면서 해요.
also KSB, I think it's we just have to face them, and then we can never predict what's going to happen.
하겠다고 생각을 해요. 그냥
I think it's doable, certainly,
해봐야 알 것 같아요.
but I think we just have to face them on the day.
당연히 1등이겠죠?
Of course, your goal
순간
will be the first place, right?
이제 좀 나와서
네.
네, 마무리 잘하고
I think
싶은데.
with today's results, I think that's certainly possible, but still has to continue.
블랙은 우리가 뭐 그래도 이기고 간다.
이기려고 노력을 많이 하겠습니다.
Do you think it's possible to bring down KSB Black? I think it's still possible.
저는
I thought you were going crazy, like drop the beat and all that, but you changed a lot. I decided to become a lot more humble in mind.
그 트로피
네네.
Of course, we talked about it.
네네. 아, 네. 기억해요.
보신 분들은 보셨을 거예요.
Remember the last ceremony that you had? You were dropping the bits all the time,
왜
but
그런 거예요?
this time you were very
한번 제가
with the team.
키스? 그러니까 뽀뽀를 하고 싶었는데
네.
I wanted to kiss the
너무 좀 이거
trophy,
하려니까 좀 식상한 것 같아가지고.
but I think that was
나는
way too
이것보다
cheesy.
약간 좀더 지금 되게 기분 좋은데 이걸 표현하고 싶어서 핥아버렸어요. 네.
So I licked it instead of kissing the
홀리건
trophy.
선수가 이스턴에서 드랍 더 비트 이상의 무언가를 보여주겠다.
아,
그런 얘기를 했었는데
네네.
You told us that you're gonna
좋았습니다.
show something else
네.
in the Eastern Clash if you win.
이제 팬분들도
but
많이 모셨는데
That was more than enough of what we wanted to see, so you don't have to continue.
And for those who didn't see it, probably like more than enough they wanted to hear.
일단은 저희
Of course, the last
팀원들한테
question to your
그냥
fans.
항상 제일 많이 감사하고요.
And towards our fans, we thank them
저희
so much,
팀
the most
스폰서랑
actually.
이제 그다음에 저희
Of course,
팀
towards our team
팬분들,
sponsor, also the fans,
그리고 이렇게 게임 관련해서 도와주시는 분들
and everyone related with
제가
HGC
여기서
here.
이렇게 게임도 하고 약간 응원도 받고 할 수 있는 거에 대해서
And I think the fact we are
소중함을
rooted,
잊지 않고
I think I'm really happy that we are able to play the game
그걸
here,
생각하면서 열심히 하고
and
있습니다.
get all the
다음에
support from the fan. I'm really
앞으로
happy
남은 경기도
and satisfied.
그냥 열심히 준비할 거고요.
And with that, I will really prepare super hard until the later part and try to win as many as possible.
그리고 항상 감사합니다. 네.
And I'm always thankful. Thank you.
인터뷰 감사합니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 홀리건
Well,
선수
that
인터뷰
is
마치고
going to do it
개최로
with
돌아가도록
our
하겠습니다.
interview with Hooligan. So here are our standings after today. Tempest still leading by just one win.
One single game away from that top spot.
Yeah, KSC Black still significantly behind at the moment, but we've got the rest of this week and 4 more weeks for this to all finish up. For Feliz and Ace, man, it's looking like relegation is a real possibility. They need to step up the gameplay and pass Miracle. One of them will have to at least, otherwise it is going to be them going to the Crucible. And Ace's results today not they didn't look as weak as they had previously in this tournament. In fact, showing us some great games against Gluck. But gonna need to see some improvement. Here are our matches for tomorrow. The sister teams of Old Miracle versus KSV Black will be our starting match, and then we'll have Blossom, Eastern Clash, 4th place team. That was the 4th seed. Will face off against Belize. So I think tomorrow's matches will be fun for sure. KSV the only one of the big 3 that will be appearing, but I think Blossom has shown some great games in the Eastern Clash. That match against Belize will be fun to watch as well.
Yeah, that's true. And Blossom, they're getting caught up by Gluck, as Gluck was only a few games away, I think, from catching up to that 4th place. So they really have to secure a win against Belize. I think they're the favorites, of course, and they have really stepped up so much in the Eastern Clash and learned a lot from the other regions at the same time. I think it's also another great game to watch to test them once again back in Korea, what they have changed since that Eastern Clash.
We saw improvements from Ace. I feel like Gluck in a few ways was complacent during the off season, but Feliz, we'll see what they've been practicing, what they've been studying, because everyone who went to Eastern Clash, of course, was focused on the Eastern Clash patch, the tournament patch there, whereas Feliz was able to play on the patch we're playing on now, whereas the other teams are focused on other things. Like Blossom was not able to practice this Sonya patch because it wasn't relevant. So there's a lot of ways that that could come into effect if Feliz is prepared really well.
Yep, and also Miracle has been having super hard time, and KSP very likely the favorites, but we'll have to see. Miracle had that same time to work on, and they really have to go above Gluck now. If maybe they will be the one being relegated if they lose a couple more matches coming up.
Certainly could be the case. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're back here for HGC Career. We're going to have more tomorrow, and we'll see you then.